adages that have been mentioned on our program. For example, to err is human. And earlier on, we had a discussion about whether President Ramaphosa will have to grapple with many issues that he has to attend to during the State of the Nation address, as we continue to preview some of the issues. Joining us now is Professor Jannie Rossouw, who is head of the School of Economic and Business Sciences at Wits University. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Good afternoon, Colin.
Well, if we had earlier in the discussion with Dr. Majola that, when we are saying it is different, there's a difference from deputizing somebody and being in charge. Now, the point that he mentioned is very significant in terms of what the president was doing as a deputy. And when he started last year, he had to first do some adjustments in terms of negotiating with former President Jacob Zuma to step down. And to use another adage to say that a new broom sweeps clean, do you think that he has really swept the country clean, and there is something really to brag about as a country to say the past 12 months have really been something to celebrate?
Colin, we have a lot to celebrate from the past 12 months. As you say, a new broom sweeps clean, but in this instance we want to see the broom sweep faster. The broom is sweeping too slowly. We need action in terms of the size of the cabinet, in terms of cabinet ministers being alleged of being on the take from Bosasa, etc. So yes, a new broom sweeps clean, but I want to see faster sweeping.
Now, when we're talking State of the Nation address, we've been dealing with politics and macroeconomic issues. But are we really not focusing on the ordinary person on the ground? There is local government, and when we're talking service delivery, people are complaining about bad roads. There aren't enough bridges. People are crossing rivers with them immersed in the water and carrying their clothes over their heads. And sometimes it is a problem when there are service delivery protests. There are no rules of engagement. How can the president address this issue?
It's difficult for the president in isolation to address the rules of engagement around service delivery, but we have to accept that in the final analysis, a government is about service delivery. Government taxes the more fortunate members of community and use such taxes to provide services to the less fortunate. So there's a reasonable expectation that the government should do this, but in order to achieve this, we have to have good governance, good government at municipal level, and that will probably be President Ramaphosa's next challenge.
Yeah, and the Auditor General said that we are losing 10% of the budget that has been allocated for local government to corruption, but nobody is wearing an orange overall even today.
Yes, this is the one area where I feel the Zuma administration is acting too slowly. We need to see criminal prosecuting processes instituted against corrupt people, as you call it, the orange overalls. I fully agree with you. I, for one, would love to see former President Zuma in an orange overall. There's enough to charge him on, and we are not seeing this.
No, I'm talking about at local government level.
Also at local
Some of the budget have been returned to Treasury.
You're quite right, but from the top to the bottom in government, where people are corrupt, we need to see them in orange overalls.
When it comes to hospitals, the public healthcare system is in a mess. The shortage of medicines, even some of the patients are complaining that they even get turned away. There aren't enough nurses, doctors. Some of them are driven towards the private healthcare system. How do you think the president should address this?
Well, the president needs a competent team in cabinet. We have too large a cabinet with a lot of incompetent people. So the president can start at the top by getting a more competent, smaller cabinet, which must then filter through government departments to the real level of service delivery where these departments engage with the public.
So are you really not concerned about, because when you talk about rich people, they can afford to go to private hospitals, but the poor don't have a choice?
I'm very concerned. Please, if I give any impression that I'm not very concerned, I'm very concerned about the very lack of service delivery to millions of South Africans who do not see an improvement in their living standards, in their living conditions, while at the same time we have high taxes in South Africa. We can't figure out what happens to the tax money we pay in terms of service delivery.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much for speaking to us. Okay, Professor Jannie Rossouw, who is from Wits University, talking to us about the expectations on the State of the Nation address.